book, how do you answer these 100 plus questions about your 2015/2016 small business? As you know, if you've been following me, I started publishing a video book in late 2014, and it became the major business objective of mine in 2015. And to the success that we have seen with the book, it is now a continuing, ongoing objective, which I thought it would be in 2016. And we're obviously not in 2016 yet. We have about 93 days left, I think, in the year. But what I'd like to do in this chapter is share a very, very exciting experience that I have had, and hopefully the community, the Dreaming with Entrepreneurs and Google Plus community, will take advantage of some wonderful creative thinking that one of our community members has embraced. And Vivek, welcome to today's chapter 23. And you're actually not new to chapters in our book. I think this is at least the third time that you've been involved in some discussions, maybe the fourth time. But why? The question is why? Why Vivek, and why are we concentrating, focusing on some technology things? Well, first, Vivek, of all the folks that I have met, and I'm putting this into personal perspective right now, I'm not speaking for the rest of the world, but for me as a small business owner, he has embraced the small business technology that I need in my business to make it run more efficiently, and that's what the goal is of technology in small business, is how, if we employ something, is it going to help our business? Is it going to make it run more efficiently? Is it going to produce desired results, et cetera, et cetera? And to that end, probably about 45 days ago, maybe a little bit longer, as Vivek and I were discussing what my marketing and sales objectives were going to be for 2016, I made the statement to him that I really wanted to try to use and understand Twitter. To me, it has been a big mystery, and it's been a big mystery because I just haven't used it. I've had a Twitter profile account for over 3 years, maybe 4 years now, but it was always something very distant to me. For right or for wrong, I have made the decision in my small business to totally embrace the technology, the Google small business technology, because the technology that they have, the applications that they have developed, I've embraced I shouldn't say as many of them as I possibly can, but I've embraced an awful lot of them in my business. So as Vivek and I were talking about Twitter, I told him what my experiences were with Twitter, what my perception of Twitter is, and maybe what it should be for me. Because if I was going to take time and use that technology tool, I wanted to make sure that it was a good use of my time. So on his own, he went off and developed an application that he calls ScripTweet. He has written, I believe, over 2,000 lines of code for the ScripTweet. Is that an accurate statement, Vivek?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. It doesn't matter how many lines of code that you've written. What matters is, does the lines of code that you have written, does it work? Does it do what you want it to do as the developer and engineer? So I'm going to actually pass off to you now so that you can talk about the tool, talk about what went through your mind as you were developing the tool, and where is the tool today. And you might even want to, well, I'm sure you're going to show the tool and do some screen sharing and that. And then what I'd like to do after you're done with that part of it, I would like to share how I've been using the tool with my marketing and sales. And so you now have at least one case, well, you have two case studies, yours and mine.
Yeah. As usual, I always start with why. There are tools available for Twitter which allow you to have a few marketing message being sent out periodically. Now, these tools will not give you as much control to you as you would like to have. And they also cost you some money. Not a huge amount, but it does. So that was one of the major reasons why I thought, okay, I'm a developer myself. Why should I use a tool which I don't have much control over, and so on and so forth? So let me write one myself. So the benefit of this tool is whoever wants to use this tool will have a developer behind it. So that would be the main advantage. And I'm also using Google URL shortener as a tool within this tool, so that when you tweet out and somebody clicks on the link, you will be able to use your Google Analytics tools to see what is going on. Because my core belief is that it has to be simple. Integrate, simplify life.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Vivek, did you not also use the shortened URL because of the Twitter limitation of 140 characters? Because a shortened URL is less than...
that is one of the requirements, but you can use several. There are so many URL shorteners available.
Oh, you use Google's because of the analytics.
Yeah, I use the Google's one because it gives you the analytics capability. Okay, so let me do a screen share and show you what the tool looks like. Okay, what you see on screen now is I have opened the tool, and this message will pop up. It says, you seem to have opened the ScripTweet tool for the first time. Please run the authorization process and so on. So that this is how I would like to guide any user who wants to start using this tool. So step by step. So this is how the tool would look like. There will be, as you can see now, at the moment there are 5 buttons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. David, you would see a difference between what your tool has and what this has, because there have been some improvement, if you want to call it that. Yes, some changes.
So if I do a refresh, I'll be able to.
Not at the moment. Yeah, you would
ultimately.
Yeah. So typically, once the tool is installed and configured and ready to go, typical user would need to go through these 3 steps. First step, add a message to tweet, and then hit this button here, prepare tweet. and then hit the third button, tweet away. And when they want to tweet regularly, they click on this button and the tweeting happens at set intervals determined by the user. Okay, so what shall I show you next, David? You tell
well,
me.
I should make a comment that right away, the obvious things that I see, because I've been using the tool, is the fact that you've got 1, 2, and 3. Actually, yeah, you did have numbers on the last setup. You did have numbers for them, but you took the number 3 button and you put it underneath number 2, which makes logical sense, because though you need to do those 3 things every single time you do a tweet. So that's no.
Let me correct you there. Every single time you add a line,
add one. Yes.
Okay, so these are the 3 buttons, and you need to go through the authorization process, which I just completed. This script is authorized to work on my Google account. That's what it is authorized now.
Actually, Zara has just asked a question, Vivek, and I know the answer, but I'll let you give the answer. Can you set different intervals for each tweet?
As of now.
Oh, for each tweet. I misread her question.
Not for each tweet, no. For all the tweets, you can potentially have multiple sheets. You can have copies of the same tool, multiple versions, each sheet having separate tweet message, and each sheet tweeting at different intervals. You can do that rather than have all the tweets jumbled up all in one place and making things more complicated. I would like it to be simple.
Actually, that's Zara's question was a great question, Vivek, and I actually thought about that question yesterday, and so you've answered it already, that we could have multiple sheets, and each sheet would be regulated when that tweet would go out, or when that series of tweets would go out.
Yeah. So first step is actually to authorize or connect this tool with Twitter. So to do that, what I call the engineering menu, that's what you're seeing here. You have been warned, engineering menu enabled, follow instructions. So that's what the warning says there, instructions from engineer, because you are yet to install the tool properly. So engineering menu enabled, and start with the help me set up option here. Click on that. This pops up. Now I need to go to Twitter and create an app. The steps are explained here, but I already have created an app. So I need to jump a couple of steps here. I need to go to the 4th step and do that. Copy that. That's what it says here. Open this tab. Open new link in a new tab. Okay.
Let me say something right now too, Vivek, that needs to be said. Absolutely needs to be said. A couple things. Number one, you are going to have a tutorial that folks can watch and work through setting it up. But the other thing that's going to be vastly different, and we've got to figure this out yet, because we hope millions of people want to use a tool. But if they do, how are we going to communicate with lots of folks? And initially, for sure, you will be making yourself available to help folks work through questions that they have. And we don't know how that's going to look yet, but let's emphasize that is going to be available to folks.
Yeah. So there are steps here which would, guidelines here, how to, we do need to have consumer key and secret. These are the things that are required to integrate your Twitter account with this tool. So once you do that, once that is successful, then any tweet you put in this sheet, you can tweet it periodically, and the tool goes on. So what would you like me to show next, David?
Well, I'll just go to the next step. That is really meaningless until they start to do it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you might do. What you might do is go to the settings so people can see what happens when they do enter each one of those fields. There you go.
At the moment, these fields, consumer key, consumer secret, all these are empty here. But so these need to get filled up, because they are the ones that this tool uses to interact with the Twitter and authorize. They are essentially login, not necessarily login information. They are more than that. So that they are the steps. The keys are available here. These are the secrets and keys and so on. They get filled in there, and then this tool will use those information, secret, access token, and so on to start tweeting. So let me show you another version of the same thing.
Let me, while you're doing that, Zara is asking another great question. Can you set up for separate Twitter accounts?
You can, yeah, for that, if you have multiple Twitter accounts, it's the answer is essentially the same as before. You have multiple copies of the same tool. In fact, in this tool, I am even encouraging people to share this. I am actually giving you the directions here how to share this tool. You are free to share this tool with anyone you wish to share it with, but Vivek technology will only support those users who have connected with them and have signed a support arrangement. That is obvious. I can't be spending time supporting somebody who is not really connected with me in any way, because if thousands of people want to use this tool and want my time, it would not be possible. So, but I am giving all the instructions here so that you can share this tool with anyone else. You can share it with yourself effectively. You can have multiple copies of the same tool, and they all can be running at the same time. So what actually happens is, this is slightly older version of the same tool, and this is running. Typically what I do is I add a new message here, hit this prepare tweet button, and hit tweet away button once, and then see if they all end up being green. Green signifies that everything is okay if something is wrong, then these green will become red, something else will become red. So color coding is used.
Something I should mention, and this isn't a negative, it's just the way that technology works sometimes. Yesterday, as I was using this tool, I have, and we'll show my tweets. We'll show how I'm using the tool in a second here. But yesterday, and I have it set so that tweets go out every hour. And yesterday, and I think I have 7 or 8, I don't know how many, 6 or 7 tweets that I have now programmed, and they go through. But when it tweeted on its regular time yesterday, one time only one of the 7 or 8 lines didn't go through for whatever reason, and I showed you we saw an orange warning that particular line, that particular tweet, didn't go through the system. It didn't go out into the Twitter network. And the interesting thing was on the very next series, it went out okay. So
yeah, so it's typically a best effort, and yeah, if one tweet doesn't go out, it's not the end of the world. So
particularly with this tool, it's absolutely not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Have you said essentially what you want to say with it? Should we go to mine?
Yeah, unless you want me to install the tool, go through the installation steps.
No, let's say that for the tutorial.
Yeah.
And let's go to my how I'm using the tool. So let me do a screen share here. Okay, am I up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I set this up. Today is Wednesday. I set this up on Monday. And you'll see here day 93, day 92, day 91, day 90, day 94. Okay, why in that order? Well, 94 for some reason wasn't going out, so we figured that out and then we put it back in. So here's how I'm using it. I am doing almost daily. The tweets are going out every hour, but I started at day 100, and that meant that there were 100 days left in 2015, and my objective was as many of those days, the 100 days, as I could actually do a tweet and do a blab as a supplementary as a vertical supplement to the tweet. I would blab whatever the question of that day was. So today, I believe, is day 92. There are 92 days left in the calendar year 2015. So here you see day 92. What technology changes will you make for 2016? That is the tweet that is going out. I will do a blab when we are done with this hangout. I'm going to actually do a blab and talk about that question. I also look for folks who have questions about their small business. This particular question might be appropriate to their business, might not be appropriate to their business, but they can bring questions into this blab which are appropriate to their business. That's why I'm using blab as a vertical supplemental tool to this Twitter ScripTweet. So when Vivek talked about the long URL, I am actually sending folks ultimately to my video book. That's part of the marketing strategy. ask a question, send them to a page, a landing page in my video book that addresses that particular question. So here's where Vivek did created the shortened URL, and there it is. And right here, you see, oh, I'm pointing on my, not this one. Here, here's a shortened URL. Here's the long URL, which is just a replication of my video book. Here's the shortened URL. Google shortened it so we could do analytics, as Vivek explained. Now, here, he actually he's created a real interesting concept to this tool. This particular tweet has 79 characters. And so it's great to retweet. And explain that concept a little bit, the retweet concept, Vivek, if you will.
Yeah, every tweet, Twitter has limited us to 140 characters. But if we send out a tweet 140 characters, yes, people can read it. But if they want to retweet it, they will have to remove some of the characters from your original tweet. That would act as a sort of discouraging factor. I was going to say deterrent, but that's a
both. Is a deterrent of sorts.
Yeah, because they will have, they can't simply just hit the retweet button. They have to do something more, which is a painful thing for a Twitter user to do. Twitter users typically would hit the retweet button and that's it. They don't want to use typically they would be using their phone or a portable device like an iPad or something like that, and probably they are sitting at a railway station, airport, or even traveling in a train or whatever. So they want to keep their keyboard activity as limited as possible. So less than 140, if your tweet is less than 140, then it is easier. But if it is less than or equal to 120, then it is great for retweeting, because typically when they want to retweet, they want to add their Twitter handle. So that would add a few more characters, which would take up the allowance from 140. So that's why that concept.
Okay.
So this tool, as you add a message into the by using the add new message for tweeting button, it would add it to a row on this spreadsheet, and then you give a URL, long URL. It shortens the URL, and then a combined message, it would calculate the length, and then it would indicate whether the message is great for retweeting or difficult to retweet or not possible to retweet at all. So there are three possibilities. So using different colors, it would indicate to you.
And so we see that just by the length of my tweets, they've all been really great to retweet, because the first line here, there's 79 characters in that tweet. So that means that the retweeter has 21 plus 40, 61 characters that they can add their own message or do what they want to do. So that's how that number works. And so that's a really great, that's a great feature of the tool. And I think I pretty much said what I want to say, Vivek, in that I'm definitely thinking about marketing, and I want to make my marketing efforts, the time that I put into it, more efficient. There's no question that this tool does that for me. I don't have to spend as much time. And let's not kid ourselves. Twitter is a numbers game. No ifs, ands, buts, or whys about it. And because of that concept, and that's a marketing concept. Because of that, this tool makes it all the more worthwhile and more efficient, because you can load it up with 20 tweets, with 25, with 30, whatever, and just say, I want these to go out every hour. So you're constantly putting your message in front of folks without having to necessarily go back and deal with them on a one-to-one basis. So why don't you talk? I'm gonna stop this screen share right now. Why don't you talk, Vivek, a little bit about how you perceive the benefits of this tool? We've seen the features, we've studied the features. How would you describe the benefits?
Benefits, as I said, first benefit would be me. I am the one who is developing it. I don't have somebody else who develops it for me. No, I'm the one who is developing it. And this can only be the beginning of something great. So that's how I see that first benefit.
And if I can add to that, so then the next user says, well, what does that mean to me? I mean, it's okay for you, you're the developer, but I can say that using this tool has given me access to Vivek. And so when there's a challenge, when I have a challenge, and I am not a technology person, Vivek will be the first one to tell you that. But I'm using the tool. He has made it very user-friendly. He had to help me through the setup. I won't deny that. But after that, I can now use it, and if I can use it, anybody can use it.
Second one, I would say, is the fact that you have control over what happens with the tool. You want to stop the tweets from happening, you can do that. There are other tools which you need to subscribe, and they also go through their servers, which means someone else actually controls what happens with your tweets and so on. So that's when it gets more complicated. Whereas with this tool, you are in control. It uses your Google account for tweeting, which means you would definitely have better Google juice.
Google juice. Everybody should be drinking Google juice.
Third point is actually for the URL, I'm using URL shortening. I'm using the Google URL shortener. So you key in the long URL, whichever you want. It gets shortened using the Google's own URL shortening tool, which means you can then use your Google Analytics tool to look at what happened with these tweets and so on, whether people have been clicking on them, how many have been clicking, and all the rest of it, the Google Analytics. But the first benefit is this is only a beginning. You would know firsthand what kind of development work I can do. And this is an example of, as I always say, I believe in simplicity, and that's what I want to bring to everybody. I use software development as a tool to make that happen. David?
And I think to that end, we're going to bring this HOA to an end. or this chapter 23, we will be creating an event stream into this chapter. So whenever you have come and watch it and view it, you'll be able to add comments, ask Vivek questions. If you plus him in that question, he'll see it. He'll see it as one of his notifications, and you will get an answer from the developer himself, not a robot, but from the developer himself. So unless you have anything else, Vivek, I would say that thank you for your time today. Thank you for taking the time. And I know you've spent a lot of hours developing this tool, and you spend hours every day even making it better today than it was yesterday, and tomorrow will be another day to, well, you can't have all the answers. There's no way you can have it. But as you use a tool and you see certain things happening, or you see things not happening that maybe should, then you can put additional development hours to that. I don't know if that's the typical mindset of application developers, because I've never communicated with one. You're the only one I've ever communicated with. I know basically how you think, and so it's worked out very well. Any last comment you'd like to make, or should we close?
Yeah, you can. I would only say that, I was mentioning another tool which I had developed, which using the labels on your Gmail, you can make it so that if you want to send out specific documents based on a label. Now I already have a tool which is working for me, which does that. I on my mobile phone, I look at a mail and say, oh, for this mail, I should send this particular document as an attachment and send it to them. So I assign a label to that email, and that's all I need to do. The tool takes care of automatically.
It's kind of interesting because I don't know that you and I have ever had a discussion about that tool. Oh, Lordy. Okay, thank you very much for your time today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact either me, David at dreamingwithentrepreneurs.com, or the developer directly. Which email address do you prefer for something like this, Vivek?
My usual, you can contact me through my Google Plus account, which is probably easiest. So
it's for sure it's easiest. And that's it. My name is SmallBizDavid, and we will see you the next time, which may very well be the best time.